Good afternoon and welcome to the Dearborn STEM and Early College Academy ribbon cutting. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Wonderful, wonderful. I first want to start out with some acknowledgments, and I think the acknowledgement here has to begin with the Dearborn school community and the community of Roxbury. We are proud to be here with you today. I also want to acknowledge elected officials, state, local, and national, the Boston Public School Committee. Mind you, I'm not going to go through all the names because it's a whole bunch of folks with a whole bunch of titles here, and we're not going to go through all of them today, but I want to make sure that they are recognized. The BPS team and our educators in the Boston Public School System and my colleagues in City Hall. Today's ribbon cutting is an incredible occasion, and it actually brings to mind some of the revitalization work that the city of Medellin, Colombia did in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Medellin's mayor at the time led that effort, relying foremost on the principle that the investments in the finest public amenities and works of art would be made first and primarily in neighborhoods that had been historically overlooked and where people, through their struggles, had earned full entitlement to the best that the city had to offer. Similar principles cut through the city's Imagine Boston plan, Boston's art plan, and the Build BPS initiative. Today, we take a major step toward upholding these principles, equity-promoting principles, with the opening of the new Dearborn STEM and Early College Academy. The new Dearborn not only stands as a Roxbury landmark, but the gem of all school buildings in the city of Boston and in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It is also the anchor for Boston's Education Innovation District, in which you are standing right now. Many people in this community invested time and talent into developing the vision for what would become the new Dearborn School. Literally, many of them, and I see a lot of the shirts in the back, offered prayers and lifted prayers to move heaven and earth to make sure that this school would be a possibility. Amen. Many hands labored on this project, not only to construct this building, but to begin developing a student learning experience that is fit for the space. One that we expect will be groundbreaking on many fronts and will serve as a template for 21st century learning across the city, across the state, and the nation. Now, I am very excited about this, and I'm getting a little worked up here, but I do realize that my job is to MC and not steal people's thunder. So you will hear many acknowledgments of the educators, community groups, architects, engineers, tradespeople, global companies, and philanthropists who helped to deliver this marvel and who are planning to revolutionize student learning in the city of Boston. But I do, however, want to be the first among many to offer the city's and this community's gratitude for your vision, your dedication, and your hard work. And now I would like to invite to the podium our mayor, Martin J. Walsh. Many of you know that this is a project that has been long in the making, and Mayor Walsh did not initiate the Dearborn project, but he did make it among his highest priorities in his first term. And now he is adamant about building on the successful development of this building, making it the centerpiece for 21st century learning in Boston, and leveraging it to drive district-wide improvements in learning. Please welcome to the podium Mayor Martin J. Walsh.
Thank you, Ron. And let me just there's a few people I have to thank. I want to thank Ron Dorsey for emceeing here, but also taking on the role of Chief of Education for the City of Boston 5 years ago, a role that didn't exist in the city, that has worked on many projects, but including Build BPS and thinking about the future of development and construction in our city when it comes to new schools. So I want to thank you, Ron. Our interim superintendent, Laura Perel, thank you for being here with us today, and thank you for your advocacy prior to the role. I'm not going to introduce everyone here, but thank you, everyone here. You know, because you're all going to come up. But I do want to thank one person here. In 2014, when this project got on my radar after I got elected mayor, then Treasurer Grossman started talking about this project and began the approval process moving on. We had a change in office when the treasurer left and the new treasurer came in. And I got to tell you, I don't think we have a better partner in the city when it comes to the school building authority or anything as we do with Treasurer Deb Goldberg. So I'd like to publicly thank Treasurer Goldberg for her work. And I want to thank everyone from the Mass School Building Authority that's here today. You know, you guys and ladies have been incredible, whether it's this school behind me or it's all of the summer jobs we've been doing with new windows and boilers and windows and walls and all the things you've been doing, so thank you for that. I want to thank the elected officials. I want to thank Byron Rushing. Byron and myself were in the House of Representatives back when the School Building Authority was created, and I want to thank you for continuing to push the funding for this. Evandro Cavallo's here. I want to thank you, Evandro, as well, for pushing the funding for this. And China Tyler, whose district we're on the border, you and Byron, so I want to thank you for pushing the funding for this as well, not just this project, but all School Building Authority. This program that I'm talking about benefits all of the taxpayers pay for it, and it benefits a lot of schools in our city and in our state. So I want to thank you all the elected officials, all the state elected officials that are here, and if any other state officials are here, I want to thank you as well. I'll get you in a minute. I want to thank the local elected officials. Kim Janey was not the city councilor when this project started here, but she was an advocate, and she was a strong advocate for our kids and for education and for our communities. And she's continued to be that strong advocate voice for our young people in the city of Boston. So I want to thank you, Councilor, for having us today in your district. We have the president of the Boston City Council here as well, Andrea Campbell, who also is a strong advocate. And both of these women, along with the city council, voted and passed the largest school budget in the history of the city of Boston in the last budget. So I want to thank you for your advocacy and pushed in a lot of ways. Thank you for that as well. I want to thank another champion we have from Washington that works, and whenever we pick up the phone, he's there. And I want to thank Congressman Mike Capuano for being with us today. Thank you, Congressman Capuano. And I don't see any other electeds, but if I see you, I'll get to you. I want to thank the community. When we had this conversation a bunch of years ago, it wasn't that you didn't want a school here, but you were concerned about what the impacts of the school was. This community rallied around this school. This community held our feet to the fire. This community supported sometimes even when people didn't think it was the right thing to do. And I want to thank this community because of your efforts, the neighborhood groups and the people that live in this street. Because of your efforts, we have this beautiful building behind us. And in 2 weeks, our kids that are going to go to school here are going to go to the best STEM Academy school in the United States of America right here in Roxbury. So thank you for that. I want to thank my brothers and sisters from GBIO as well who are here today, who have been a partner with us from the beginning of this, and it's like a marriage. Sometimes we're fighting and sometimes we're not. And today's a day we all love each other. And I want to thank you because back 3 years ago, there was a concern that we were going to lose the school to the state, and we weren't going to have any control. And Reverend Liz Walker and a bunch of other folks stepped up and stood with us side by side, and that's why we're here today collectively as one big group. And at the end of the day, all we want is the same thing. We want every young person that walks in that front door in 6th grade and walks out in 12th grade to get a first-class quality education on a pathway to success, on a pathway to college, on a pathway. The teachers here, the students here, thank you. Without the teachers, we don't have anything. And I want to thank the teachers on behalf of myself and the school committee that's here and the superintendent. Thank you to all the teachers that are here. To the headmasters, thank you very much as well, because without your leadership, we don't have anything. Thank you to the headmasters, because now this is the easy part for us. We get a chance to leave. You have to go in and do your business. So I want to thank you for that. Till Gilbane Construction and Janey Construction, thank you for building a beautiful building. And just so you get a flavor of how this job worked, 40% of the job, as far as the majority of the job, 93,000 hours were worked by residents. 40% of this job, 99,000 hours were worked by people of color. And 7% of this job, 15,000 hours were worked by women on this project. So I want to thank you for that. This is a time for new beginnings in our city, and our students and our teachers and our families are excited about all the possibilities that our new year brings. As a city, we are making historic investments in our communities and our neighborhoods. The opening of this Dearborn STEM Academy is a major milestone. It's the first new school construction project the city of Boston has undertaken in 15 years. That's a complete renovation. The Dearborn has a long history and has evolved within our city. It's gone through tough times. It's gone through very scarce resources, but it's shown great resilience. Over the years, and many of the faith leaders are here, the neighbors, the parents, and advocates have advocated for a new school here that meets the needs of the students of today. One that empowers our students to live and thrive academically and personally for generations to come. I'm proud together that a lot of us here have made it happen. The Dearborn is much more than a new facility. It's a state-of-the-art school that will serve as a model for STEM education. I'm not adding the STEAM there. It was envisioned by the Dearborn community. It was designed to support a project-based curriculum. It focuses on collaboration, communication, and hands-on instruction. It's going to help our students take what they learn and apply it in their lives. The Dearborn will prepare all students of all backgrounds for college, career, and life opportunities. To the neighborhood, once again, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for this opportunity. This new school builds on the investments we're making throughout the Dudley Square. We're making investments at the Dudley Square Library, $17 million renovation. The Vine Street Community Center, a $5 million renovation. And the Dearborn is a testament to the culture of teamwork that we're trying to build here in our city, between the city and the state and the federal government, across all sectors and across all neighborhoods. I'm especially proud of our renewed relationship with the Mass School Building Authority. I want to sincerely thank the Mass School Building Authority one more time for making the Dearborn possible. I also want to thank them for supporting other construction improvements all over our city. Thank you, Treasurer Goldberg, Boston Arts Academy in the Fenway, the Carter School in the South End, Josiah Quincy Upper School in Chinatown, and accelerated projects at 18 different schools. Projects like these can be a model for collaborations that will help us implement the Build BPS, our $1 billion school facility master plan. I was asked a question a minute ago by one of the reporters about what is, paraphrasing, what is one of the most important pieces, if you will, of education? What are we focused on? And it was in regards to Build BPS. And my answer was all of the above. We need to make sure that our young people that are learning in an environment right now, 2/3 of our buildings in the city of Boston that they get educated in were built prior to World War II. I'm sure when those schools were built, and we can tell by looking at the shell of them, they were beautiful schools. They were built for the education of that time. The kids that went to that school, many of them were sons and daughters of people who went off to war to fight for this country, for the freedom of this country. There was opportunities. Fast forward 70 years later, our kids are still learning in those schools. And now we have to continue through Build BPS to make sure that we bring our kids and our education and our classrooms and all the opportunities into the 21st century. It's alive right here in this neighborhood, certainly alive in Roxbury, what our young people are going to experience. This is truly the first school that we can talk about that is a true 21st century school. And it's in the heart of Roxbury. And we're going to send a strong message to the rest of the city of Boston that this school and a school like this is coming to all of your neighborhoods. I'm going to end there because let me just talk a little bit about industry partners. Having a STEM school is important for us to have relationships and the education at the Dearborn across the district. I'd like to thank the companies that are partnering with us. GE, Vertec, Microsoft, Bank of America, Charitable Foundation, to name a few. Our young people that live in this neighborhood in the next 10 years should be running those companies I just mentioned, in some cases being the leader of those companies. Every student and every child from every background and every neighborhood deserve an opportunity to reach their full potential. Every student deserves access to a rigorous curriculum and a strong, nurturing school community. And that's what we're doing here at the Dearborn, and that's the BPS mission. Everything we want to accomplish in the city of Boston. We want to build up the middle class. We want to fight inequality. We want to create an inclusive economy. It all comes back to education. It comes back to building a strong community like the Dearborn. I can't wait to see this school grow and the incredible young people that come out of the school to do incredible things. I know that the Dearborn students that are here today are going to do remarkable things, and I know that many of you that aren't here today, you have 2 weeks left of vacation. That's why you're not here today. I know that great Boston stories are going to begin in this building behind me and from this neighborhood that we're in today. I want to thank every single person that's here today, and if I didn't mention you, you are just as important as the people I mentioned for what you've done to get us to this point here today. Congratulations to all of you, and congratulations to the young people that are going to be educated here 2 weeks from today.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One of the things that I'm already enjoying about this event is sitting next to Reverend Hamilton, because it means I'm in the amen corner. So feel free to follow suit as you are led by Reverend Hamilton. Next, I'd like to invite to the podium Boston Public Schools Interim Superintendent Laura Perrill. Laura Perrill is a friend and trusted colleague whose life has changed dramatically in the last couple of months. But know about Laura that she brings to the position of interim superintendent a long record as a champion for powerful school models and education innovation. She's committed to working with the Dearborn community to help it fully realize its vision for student success and to translating this initial success into the next phases of Build BPS. So please welcome to the podium Laura Perrill.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to start by thanking all of you for being here for this historic and exciting moment for the Boston Public Schools and the city of Boston. I am not new to this work, but I'm new to this party, and what a party it is. I want to thank Mayor Martin J. Walsh, State Treasurer Deborah Goldberg, Chief of Education Ron Dorsey for that very warm introduction. I also want to acknowledge Commissioner Jeff Riley, who is with us here. Jeff was a much younger principal, and I was a much younger school improvement advocate when we started working together years ago, so good to still be working with you today. I want to share greetings and thanks from School Committee Chair Michael Lecanto, who could not be here today due to a prior obligation, along with the entire school committee, but I want to give a special shout out both to School Committee member Regina Robinson, who's here, and in particular to School Committee member Michael O'Neill, who was chair and an enormous champion of the effort that led to the building of this facility. So thank you, Michael, for that. I also want to offer a special hat tip to my city colleagues, Pat Brophy, Chief of Operations for the City of Boston, and Tricia Lyons, Director of the Public Facilities Department. They and their team, along with many of my tremendous colleagues at the Boston Public Schools Central Office, worked tirelessly to bring this building to reality. I also want to recognize Boston Plan for Excellence Executive Director Jesse Solomon and Dearborn STEM headmasters Dana Brown and Shelley Olson for their efforts to shepherd the school to this moment through the past years and to today, along with our many partners in local and state government. I'm not going to run through all the names because the mayor did an awesome job, but I can think of no better way to kick off the school year than to be here with you all, ushering in this gleaming, spectacular state-of-the-art school on behalf of the students who will soon occupy its classrooms and learning spaces. It's the first school in Boston specifically designed for science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. I can't wait for all of you to get inside if you haven't already taken a tour of this magnificent building. This 128,000 square foot structure is full of natural light and open spaces. It fosters collaboration. It shows our students, no matter their race, culture, language background, gender identity, or sexual orientation, that they matter, that they can do it, that they are the future, and that that future is here right now for them. Because as beautiful as this school building is, what really matters is the teaching and learning that will take place within its walls. So I want to thank the teachers, staff, and school leaders who are committed to stepping up to make this building hum with life and learning. Please know the gratitude and admiration that I have for your daily work. Here at the Dearborn, students from all walks of life will look out their classroom windows and see the skylines of downtown Boston and the Innovation District. They'll see local colleges like Northeastern University from their windows, and most importantly, they'll see the possibilities that are available to them right now. That's what's so special about the Dearborn today. None of this would be possible without the commitment, dedication, hard work, and most importantly, collaboration among the many stakeholders who made this school dream a reality. What they all have come to the table for is one common goal: to provide our students, all of our students, a top-notch STEM education. This collaboration is being celebrated today, but the real work continues. We must always strive to do better when it comes to educating our students for the innovation economy. And we must keep up with the ever-changing needs of our increasingly globalized and tech-savvy world. This is true not only for the children here at the Dearborn STEM Academy, but for all of the 57,000 children across 125 schools served by the Boston Public Schools. And as we move forward this fall with the work of Build BPS, as we embark upon complex school building and renovation projects to foster 21st century learning in Boston for all of our students, we will certainly look to the Dearborn STEM as an example of a project that can be successful when everyone comes to the table and when everyone shares the same common goal of providing a first-class education for the students of Boston. Thank you very much.
And next, I'd like to call to the podium Tricia Lyons, who is the director of the city's Public Facility Department. The Public Facilities Department oversees the design and construction of all city-owned buildings. Tricia and her team deserve a lot of the credit for making sure that we were able to get to this opening today. They also deserve a lot of credit for putting together a first-of-its-kind database of school building conditions in Boston. These data will help us determine where the next school builds and major renovations happen in the city. Please welcome to the podium Tricia Lyons.
Thank you, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here on this beautiful and extremely exciting day. Thank you, Ron, for that introduction. And basically, as Ron said, I'm the director of the Public Facilities Department. Our team at PFD has been responsible for leading this project over the last 6 years. Yes, 6 years. Designing, planning, constructing by hundreds of committed people, all working together. And that's what got us to this place today. So there are many dedicated people to thank for getting us here. Now, I promise not to name all of the hundreds of them, but I have to name some who have poured their heart and soul into this project. And I promise I'll be brief, but I appreciate your indulgence. First and foremost, I need to thank the students from the Dearborn 6 to 12 STEM Early College Academy. Thank you so much for your patience and your perseverance as we took what probably seemed like an eternity to build this building for you. And this is a building that you so richly deserve. I promise you'll find that it's worth the wait. I'd also like to thank Mayor Walsh for his commitment to bettering our public schools. As Mayor Walsh said, this is the first new school building built in the city in the last 15 years. Thank you so much, Mayor, for giving this awesome gift that will benefit our kids for generations to come. I'd also like to thank our community partners and our patient neighbors for advocating for this building and for working with us to endure what could, at times, be a very noisy and active construction site right outside of your homes. We very much owe you our gratitude for your willingness to sacrifice your peace and quiet so that our young people can have one of the best school facilities in the country. I'd also like to thank our very large project team who worked tirelessly to ensure that as a city, we can point to this building with pride for many years. Thank you first to Patrick Brophy, our Chief of Operations, for being our guiding force. A very special thank you to my crew from the Public Facilities Department, especially our project manager, Bill Hughes, Yay, Bill. There's a lot of work to this. Our clerks of the works, our site people, Stan Cito and Mike Lynch. Our design resources, Maureen Anderson and Evan Brinkman. And our furnishing guru, Annie Grant. Thank you all so much. Also to our partners at the Boston Public Schools, especially Superintendent Perel. It's great to work with you. Rob Consalvo, the Chief of Staff. John Hanlon, the Chief of Operations. Bob Harrington and PJ Perskinis from the Facilities and Maintenance Department. And Mark Racine, the Chief Information Officer. To our wonderful design team at Jonathan Levy Architects, Jonathan Levy, Mark Warner, Philip Gray, and Elizabeth Bugby. Thank you so much. Our great contracting team from Gilbane in partnership with Janey Construction, Ryan Hutchins, Greg Janey, Kevin Cook, Mike O'Brien, Mike Marcella, Linda Callahan, Sam Nahampkin, and Derek Ullman. Told you it takes a lot of people. Our owners project management team from Daedalus, Richard Marks, John Feely, and Taisha Jarrett. And the mayor referred earlier to our friends at the MSBA, and I can't thank you enough for your partnership. Thank you to Treasurer Goldberg, MSBA Director Jack McCarthy, and his team, Mary Piketty, John Jump, Christy Murray, and Greg Brunel. And to our own finance team, who do a tremendous job managing Mayor Walsh's Build BPS and Imagine Boston capital plans. Emma Handy, our CFO, Justin Sterrett, our budget director, and Jack Hanlon, deputy director for the capital budget. And last but certainly not least, I'd like to thank all of the tradespeople and laborers on this project for the skill, the passion, the pride, and yes, the sweat they gave every day to make this building truly special for the young people of Boston. Thank you for your efforts. They are on full display today, and we very much appreciate them. You know, Mayor Walsh's commitment to Dudley Square and the greater Roxbury neighborhood doesn't begin or end with this building. As he mentioned earlier on, we look forward to delivering the $17 million renovation to the Dudley Library, the $5.3 million renovation at the Vine Street Community Center. We're also in design for the first new fire station to be built in this city in 20 years at Engine 42 on Columbus Ave. We expect to be in construction next summer, and that investment will total $23.5 million. We also recently completed a $2.4 million upgrade to the Parker Hill Library, a new $90,000 Ida B. Graves Memorial Yard at the Tobin Community Center, $3.8 million worth of new windows at the Ellis School, and a new $1.5 million welding shop at the Madison Park Vocational Technical High School. As you can see, the mayor's plans are coming to life. And finally, I'd like to leave you with this. In designing this building with our great design team, we were challenged to look into a crystal ball and predict the future. Since we obviously can't do that, I have a friend. Since we obviously can't do that, we had to accept that the methods for teaching and learning are constantly evolving. And they'll continue to evolve as people evolve and our economy evolves. In order to accommodate methods that don't even exist yet, we tried to build as much flexibility and adaptability into this building as possible. I hope when you walk through today, you'll notice the great deal of thought behind every element in this building to make it usable and sustainable as a learning and teaching tool for many years to come. To the students, teachers, and administrators at the Dearborn Academy, this is a building. It's you that will bring it to life. Enjoy your new school, take pride in it, and we very much wish you every success in your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Now, no offense to the previous speakers, and if any is taken, I will respectfully ask you to keep it to yourself. But we are arriving at the most important part of the program. Coming to this podium next is Franciliana Barbosa, an 11th grade student at the Dearborn STEM and Early College Academy. She is a high honor roll student who is involved in the MIT Minds Matter program and has participated in an internship at Mass General Hospital. Ultimately, it is Franciliana and her classmates who will decide if the new Dearborn gets the stamp of approval. More importantly and more excitingly, it is she and her friends who will, with their teachers, activate learning at the Dearborn in ways that we may not be able to fully imagine. So please welcome Franciliana Barbosa.
Hello, everyone. How are you all doing today? Awesome. So my name is Franciliana Barbosa. I'm a rising junior here at the Dearborn. I've been at Dearborn for only 2 years. At first, I didn't think Dearborn would be a great place. However, I was completely proved wrong. The Dearborn is a place where staff cares, opportunities exist, and STEM matters. My first year at the Dearborn, I joined a program called Build. Build is an entrepreneurship program where students start real student businesses. I'm the chief executive officer of my business, Roll and Go. Which is a toiletry organizer. Build has taught me so many skills that are so important in life. My team competed until the Final Four and won second place. We even got the opportunity to go to California and represented all of Build Boston. That night, we took home some of the highest honors. Last summer, I interned at the Old City Hall with a company called Kayambu. This summer, I'm an intern at Mass General Hospital. I'm also a member of a program called Minds Matter at MIT. This upcoming fall, I will be attending a program at Wentworth. While at Dearborn, I have also been a part of the principal hiring committee. The Dearborn has provided many students, including myself, with opportunities that are productive, educational, and interactive. I have grown so much because of my experiences at Dearborn, and I'm so grateful. And that we have this new building which will help us challenge us, further our STEM education and 21st century skills. STEM education is so important. Not only does it open so many doors for students, but within those doors, there's even more doors that hold so many more different opportunities. Dearborn is a school that really helps you focus on where you're headed. You have teachers and staff that really care about you and your education. There is no way you can't succeed at Dearborn. I'm a motivated, hardworking, straight-A student, and I hope to become a doctor one day.
Thank you, Franciliana. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I was so excited to hear from Franciliana that I skipped over a very important guest here, and so we are going to make sure that we honor her and her contribution. Treasurer Deb Goldberg chairs the Massachusetts School Building Authority, the state authority that oversees public school construction across the state. The Massachusetts School Building Authority has been a critical partner on the development of the new Dearborn, providing upwards of $37 million for the construction of this remarkable building. The MSBA has also been an incredible advisor on the first phases of Build BPS and indispensable in that way. So please, please welcome to the podium Treasurer Deborah Goldberg.
That's okay. Who would want to go after Francillian? Come on, back up here with me and help me out. Reverend, come on. Let's get some amens going. Come on. Amen. Amen to this event. Right? So, I think that everyone has sufficiently thanked everyone, don't you think? Yeah. So I just want to say a couple quick things because I don't know about you, but I want to get that ribbon cut along with my dear friend Marty, and because we want those kids and all of you to get inside, right? Yeah. You know what I said to Francillian? This morning I was out in Worcester for a groundbreaking for the South Community High School, also in a very interesting part of the city and terribly in need of a new school. And I said to her, aren't you glad this isn't the groundbreaking and that you're actually going to be able to go to this school? So she is so happy beyond belief. But you know what? Mr. Mayor, had a lot of memories when you brought up our first conversations. You know, when Marty jumped in, this school was in the works. But there were a lot of people who never thought it was going to get done. And then I arrived, and immediately my dear friend and former neighbor just down the street with me, who used to come over to my house all the time, that a lot of people know as Reverend Liz Walker, texted me, I have to talk to you right away. I wasn't even sworn in yet when she said to me, we have to get this school done. And when I was running for office, I went over to City Hall and I sat on the couch next to Marty and I said, why aren't we building any new schools in Boston, remember? Because, you know, I'm a Boston girl. My family's from the corner of Prince and Salem streets, and my family's been around every area of Boston my whole life. And I said, what are we doing here? We got to get to work. So we've gotten to work. We're getting it going. You heard the list. This is incredible. Now, I have to correct you on a couple quick things. You said not STEAM yet. Have you been in that Fab Lab? No. I call that art. Have you been in the dance studio? I was. That's art. Because the kind of things that happen today in these buildings, we are collaborating. All of the disciplines are coming together. And when you look out those windows and you look at downtown Boston, I want all of you, every single kid who walks through those doors, know that math is not necessarily just math. It is financial services. And financial services in this city is going to give kids a great future because there is a lot of great jobs and they can make a lot of money and take care of themselves and their families. So I am incredibly excited about this school. And I'm excited about all the schools that we're going to do together in partnership because I'm going to tell you something, and I say this at every single meeting that we have of the Mass School Building Authority. Our mission isn't bricks and mortar. As a mom, I can share with you, and I'm looking at Andrea, and she's a relatively new mom. He's over there, everybody. It's about those kids. It's about those teachers having the resources to be able to help those kids realize their dream. And if we as adults don't give them those environments in order to have those skills, we aren't doing our job. So today, everybody, we are doing our job. And Francillian, we are doing our job for you.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for having me here.
So we've got two more folks who want to share with you their reflections on the promise of the new Dearborn STEM and early college academy, and one of them is one of my favorite educators in the city of Boston. There are two essential ingredients in high quality learning. One is a masterful teacher and one is a very motivated student. Franciliana is clearly the latter, and Joshua Fidalgo is the former. And so I know Josh from the neighborhood, I know Josh from the work and a number of other things. He taught at the school when it looked a lot different. A few years ago, he taught at the school when it was co-located with the Burke, and he is back to lead learning here at the new Dearborn. My man, Josh.
Good afternoon. Whoa, that was loud. How you guys doing? It's truly an honor to be up here today, and I just want to say thank you for being here. It means a lot to our kids, and it shows them that they have a lot of support behind them, so thank you. 4 years ago, we moved to the Burke for construction. It took longer than expected to get where we are today, and at times we did not know exactly what our future held. But if you all look behind me, we can proudly say it was more than worth it. Thank you to the Burke for sharing your space with us these past 4 years. Thank you to architect Jonathan Levy and Gil Bain for believing in this project, and to Mayor Walsh, the City of Boston, and the Massachusetts School Building Authority for supporting the project. Thank you in advance to the teachers, faculty, and staff that will continue to dedicate themselves to the students, and I would like to especially recognize those who are not here today for various reasons, but were fundamental to the planning that laid the groundwork for what we have now. Suzette Duarte, a former principal at the Dearborn, someone who has helped me develop professionally and was instrumental in bringing this building to the community, is here with us today. The Dearborn STEM Academy represents an ongoing collaboration between our school and the incredible list of partners and supporters. On behalf of the Dearborn and BPE, I'd like to thank the Boston Plan for Excellence board members, the longtime partners of BPE who supported early efforts at the Dearborn, including the Barr Foundation, the Boston Foundation, and BPE's founding and supporting partner, the Bank of America Charitable Foundation. Leaders and board members from the Richard and Susan Smith Family Foundation, who stepped up as one of the first investors of BPE's partnership with the Dearborn. Fidelity Investments, who has partnered directly with the Dearborn for many, many years. New Dearborn supporters including the GE Foundation, the Liberty Mutual Foundation, Massachusetts Life Science Center, EOS Foundation, Red Hat, Vertex, Edvestors, the Lindy Family Foundation, and Microsoft. Long-standing community partners, including the Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative, the Greater Boston Interfaith Organization, the Roxbury Presbyterian Church, and the Social Impact Center, Thompson Island Outward Bound Education Center, Project Reach, Build, and Boston After School and Beyond. But most importantly, we'd like to thank the people who are going to realize the potential of this amazing building. Dearborn leaders and staff, including our amazing custodians, and of course, the Dearborn students and families. This new building is not just a building, but an opportunity. An opportunity for students in the neighborhood that is all too often overlooked. These students work just as hard, have dreams just as big, and this new state-of-the-art STEM building shows that they can do just as much. Not too long ago, I was a student just as curious, sometimes goofy, but I wasn't blessed to have a school like this in my neighborhood, that of Roxbury and Dorchester. I sat on a bus for over an hour as an elementary schooler leaving my neighborhood and friends behind in order to receive the opportunities that my parents knew I deserved. Today, Boston is changing, and we are seeing more opportunities for our families. What we see today is a testament to that. I am more than humbled to be part of a team that makes sure these students can stay close to home and not have to make as many sacrifices just to get the education and the attention they need. Dearborn promises and is committed to supporting our students and becoming active community members, lifelong learners, and navigators of today. With support from all members of our community, each and every one of you, every student will have opportunities to be great. Our kids deserve the world, and we are now able to give them access to it, therefore unlocking their full potential. On opening day, as I said, today's turnout was amazing. On September 6th, you are all invited to welcome our students. So please show up. You didn't know that we signed you up, but you showed up today, so you too made a commitment. So thank you.
And finally, before we cut the ribbon, I am so glad that our final speaker, Reverend Herman Hamilton, is with us today. He's a longtime family friend, and I haven't seen him in a while, so I'm excited to get a little bit of time with him. But more importantly, he is one of the visionaries who helped to bring the Dearborn to life as one of the founders of GBIO and the former pastor of the Roxbury Presbyterian Church. Both organizations were critical to getting the new Dearborn building off of the ground. Reverend Hamilton has been a friend to many, a champion for many more, and he has been someone who's been dedicated to the Dearborn and this neighborhood for a very long time. Please welcome to the stage a man I deeply admire, Reverend Herman Hamilton.
Hello, Roxbury Press. Hello, GBIO. Hello, Roxbury. Praise God. Giving honor to God in all the ways that we know him and to his son Jesus and to the mayor who has done incredible work here. And can we celebrate and put our hands together? All of these distinguished speakers for today, especially our student, Francelion, who was just amazing. Can you put your hands together and celebrate her? To my former colleagues that I see that are here, Pastor Ray and Pastor Gloria Hammond and Pastor Greg Gruber and others, can you celebrate them, please? I'm so happy to be here. And I thought I'd take a few moments, Mr. Mayor, and just kind of share a little bit about how this dream got started. About 10 years ago, I was at a spiritual retreat, and I saw this vision. It was a vision of the beautiful people of Roxbury gasping for air, desperate just to survive through the day. And then came this word, which was, my people need to dream again. And so I went back to our church and we got busy and we launched a program called Dream Again. And we drew a circle, 7-block circle around Rox Prayers in every direction, and we went door to door. And we had 700 conversations with the local residents, and we asked 3 questions. What is your biggest dream for yourself, for your family, and what's the greatest obstacle keeping you from that dream? And when it was all said and done, education came to the top. Somebody shout, a dream is powerful. And so we said we would start by adopting a school to try to stimulate fresh dreams in Roxbury. And yes, Jose DeWatt opened his arms and created a robust relationship with us and the Dearborn School, and we adopted it, and we started to work. Celebrate, Jose. After a few months, Dr. Carolyn Johnson, then the superintendent, produced a list, and on that list for closure was the Dearborn School. And so I reached out to our friends, GBIO, and to Trinity Episcopal Church, and to Dudley Neighborhood Street Initiative and other friends. We organized the parents and students of Dearborn, and we had a meeting with the superintendent, and we had a meeting with the late mayor, Mr. Thomas Menino. And we said to them, don't close this school, but dream fresh dreams with us about this school. Somebody say dreams are powerful. And they courageously agreed. And we went to work raising money, and let me just tell you what we dreamt. Because high school dropout escalated between the 8th and the 9th grade, we dreamt of a school that would go from the 6th to the 12th grade, that would be a premier STEM school in a 21st century building located right here in Roxbury. We dreamt of a school, because people learn differently, that would develop partnerships and internships with industries all across the city. And that our young people, beginning in the 9th grade, would not just have a classroom here, but would learn hands-on project learning all across the city. And we dreamt of a school that was aware of the fact that many of the young people coming from Roxbury are dealing with trauma and other issues facilitated by the community. And so there would need to be the special needs and wraparound programs to make sure that they could all become the next leaders of this city and the future. Somebody say dreams are powerful. Dreams are powerful. And then we were joined in that endeavor by Catherine Craven and by Jim McDonald, I saw here earlier, and Tim Cahill, who was the treasurer at the time, and we raised $50 million to get things moving. And then I left, Mr. Mayor. My friend, Pastor Liz Walker, told me what happened afterwards. She said that that powerful dream that we had worked together on, because of the ups and downs, ended up in the hospital. As a matter of fact, it ended up in intensive care on life support. And she told me that that dream would have died had it not been for Mayor Walsh. So in this atmosphere of celebration, I just wanted to come and I just wanted to say thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for when they had to re-raise all that money afresh again, you stepped forward with $35 million to make sure it happened. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When the state got ready to take this over and other people said, we want this school in some other community, you stood up and said, no, this school will remain right here. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When Mass Historic essentially said, over there, dead body, no building, the old building would not come down. You joined your political influence with GBIO and Roxbury, and you turned a nightmare no into a dream-fulfilling yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Come on, we can do better than that. Come on, let's celebrate the mayor and his commitment and what he's done. So this is an atmosphere of celebration, Mr. Mayor. But to be fully honest, there is also a little disappointment in the air. And you share this disappointment. I know, because I've talked to you and I've talked to others. And I believe that the superintendent, the interim superintendent, and the BPE director, I think all of y'all share this disappointment. Can somebody say disappointment? Well, we're excited, but as I listen to this young lady, what's your name, baby? Francine Young. I was reminded that at the end of the day, it does her no good to be in a high-tech building if there's not a fully funded IT director to keep that building functioning. I was reminded that while it is good that she's in a building that has a mission for STEM, we need a fully funded director of a STEM program to take it to the highest heights. I was reminded that if you're going to build relationships all over the city, you need a fully funded pathway career director to make sure that that happens. And Mr. Mayor, I know you're disappointed because I've been talking to people and they told me that you're disappointed. You wanted all of this in place. And you know, like all of us know, that while this building is incredibly important, a building does not ultimately make a school. At the end of the day, in order for this vision to be fully realized, we have to fully fund the dream. Come on, somebody shout, fund the dream. So while there is celebration here, and while there is a little disappointment, there's a whole lot of hope here. Somebody shout hope. We look at this building, there's hope. We look at this mayor and his commitment, there's hope. I'm going to tell you, Mr. Mayor, why I find it to be so hopeful. And I don't know whether this is true, because I asked you briefly and you weren't quite sure about it, but I'm going to tell you what I was told. I was told that in the gymnasium, in the floor, where usually there is the high school insignia, I'm told that the seal for the city of Boston is in that gymnasium floor. Now, I don't know whether that's true or not, but it makes sense to me because here's what I figured out from talking to Pastor Liz and talking to you briefly, that you have connected your heart to fulfilling this dream. You have connected your legacy to fulfilling this dream. You have made our dream your dream. Come on now, let's celebrate that. I know that's... And so, Mayor, I just want to encourage you today. I'm serious. Somebody shout encouragement. I know what it's like. It's hard to be a political official in a city like this. So I want to encourage you. Do I hear an amen? At the end of the day, BPE has a role, and I'm grateful for the work they've done. This interim superintendent, you have a role. You told me you just came into the conversation, but you can help me end the conversation. You know, all these folk up here, they have a role. God knows the state needs to have a role. Not to take it over, but to provide some funds to help us to achieve the dream. But at the end of the day, Mr. Mayor, whether we fully realize this dream or not, whether this dream is fully funded or not, at the end of the day, it's going to rise and fall on your leadership. And I showed up here today and I talked to Roxbury and I talked to GBIO and I said, if the mayor is ready to rededicate with us, it's one thing to get here today. But I think this is a day for rededication. Somebody shout rededication. Matter of fact, the mayor asked me, he said, before you sit down, can you say a little prayer? And so I'm going to say a little prayer, but it's going to be a rededication prayer. Because we have some work to be done before this dream is realized. Somebody shout amen. Amen. So, Mr. Mayor, here's what I want you to hear. Because you can't get it done by yourself. So I just want to ask, Roxbury Press and GBIO, will you stand with the mayor to help him to finish this dream? Roxbury Press and GBIO, will you provide the political support and pressure that the mayor needs to help him finish this dream? Yes. Will you rededicate yourselves to finishing this dream today? Yes. And Mr. Mayor, they're ready to work with you. My question to you is, will you work with them? Of course. He said, of course. Let's celebrate that. If I was in church, I'd say hallelujah. If I was in church, I'd say glory. Let us pray. God, we thank you for the miracles that you have worked. And we recognize they did not come out of thin air. A lot of prayers, a lot of hard work, a lot of sweat, a lot of crying, a lot of meetings, a lot of working through disagreement, a lot of starts and stops and starts and stops. But we give you thanks and praise that dreams are powerful and miracles are real. So for this $72 million facility, we say thank you. For the mayor and his team, and for GBIO and RPC and everybody who's committed to moving beyond the building to seeing a fully funded dream, we say thank you. Now, Lord, we have articulated our rededication. We're not doing it for ourselves, but we're doing it for these young people. Generation after generation that will rise up out of Roxbury. They'll become future mayors and CEOs of companies and doctors and lawyers. There might even be a president of the United States coming forth. We're doing it for these young people. So would you bless this work, consecrate what we have, and bring to fulfillment what is yet to come. I ask this in all the ways that we know you, and I particularly ask it in the name of Jesus with a heart full of gratitude. And everybody shout, Amen.